Hello and welcome to the RK Football Podcast. We are back after a long while away. It's probably the best way to say it. You can stop the emails, you can stop the calls. We are back. I'm Carl Dixon in the studio, usually joined in the studio by people, but I'm all alone today because everyone else is in their own homes on Skype. But we do have three guests with us, which is good. Well, not guests, but you know what I mean. We have Matt Thowney, who will be there once. There we go. Matt Thowney. Matt Ty.
Hello.
You are there, yeah?
And for the first time ever, quite coolly, we actually have a new guest. You might have read some of his stuff on the website. All the way from Ireland, we've got David Newman.
Hello there.
Proper Irish sounds. So we don't have Graham, unfortunately, because Graham's working. Damn work. We don't have Stuart because Stuart seems to have fell off the block. We will have Stuart back at some point, I'm sure.
Has anyone actually heard from Stuart? Is he alive?
I don't know.
I have, during the war.
During the war.
But yeah, we're back, and hopefully this will be more of a regular thing, so you can stop complaining. We hope. So we're going to start with the weekend stuff, but obviously we'll be talking about what we've missed at the same time. I'm sure there are two people in this conversation now that are very, very happy with Chelsea being top of the league.
I don't know, it could be better, couldn't it?
Absolutely buzzing.
How could it be better?
Well, we
could still be on the undefeated run.
That's true.
You
can't have it all.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the last episode we did, but around that time I'm pretty sure Chelsea was struggling. It was start of the season and Chelsea was struggling. Am I right?
Yeah.
What changed?
We last did this.
Massive turn of events, definitely, but Conte has definitely brought a sense of security about our starting 11, which I like.
To be honest with you, I'll tell you what I think's changed. 3-5-2. That's what changed.
I think it's
actually 3-4-3.
Well, 3-4, yeah.
Come
Get
on,
it right, come on.
Come
We're
on,
not
Carl,
Juventus.
get these facts right. I think it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the formation has definitely helped, but I think the partnership of N'Golo Kante and Nemanja Matic has definitely been a huge factor in the success.
And
Kante's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
He has, like
He's been so good.
Helped
When
two
he-
teams first place in the Premier League. So
It looks like he's going to be winning back to back. When he moved to Chelsea, I think a lot of people thought that was a bad move, because I think the general opinion was, Leicester have won the title, they're in the Champions League. Why would you want to leave that to go to a team that aren't in the Champions League? But you look at it now, and Chelsea are probably going to be challenging their bets for the title for the next couple of years. They're going to be in the Champions League every year. I think in the long run, it looks like Kante made the better move.
yeah.
he is also the most successful footballer in 2016, of course, because he would
The
have
win
won the
ratio,
Premier League
yeah.
on his own.
Yeah. I think he's surrounded by players that will guarantee you goals, whereas at Leicester, he was surrounded by players that it was a one-off. Everyone knew it was a one-off, so...
What painful it is to see Leicester sort of doing how they were, considering the fairy tale romance we had with them for the whole of last season. I'm just glad Chelsea are no longer the worst defending title holders. I'm glad we lost that title.
Thank God that's only lasted for 6 months.
Although, if this is a big if Leicester get relegated, there will be only the second defending English champion to be relegated.
Anyone know who there we go.
As in winning it one year, then the following season relegated. The other team to do it was, I think it was Man City, back in years
70s.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, good blimey, that's something to...
Do you know what's nice though about the Chelsea sort of resurgence? It's the same players that were failing last season. There's been no massive changes, has there? It was all of them, yeah. There's been no real massive changes. It's the same set of players that are just playing better for a manager they like.
I think another plus for Chelsea as well is Costa coming back into the team, because there was that speculation of, oh, he has this back injury, but is it a back injury? Is it this kind of interest from China that suddenly came in? But he came into the team and he scored a goal, and it looks like nothing ever happened, really.
They were doing
definitely looks like we're there to the end of the season.
Because they're doing that speculation with Costa, like you said, when he missed the Leicester game. It was because of this transfer speculation, nothing to do with this supposed back injury. Snodgrass missed the game on Sunday, and it was like, oh no, he's just failed a fitness test. There was no mention of the fact West Brom and I think West Ham also put in bids for it.
Yeah,
because
we're talking about
bigger teams, it's like, oh no, let's stir the proverbial pot.
It's because you're talking about the best striker in the league. If you're Robert Snodgrass is Hull's best player, but look where Hull are.
In fairness, Hull didn't actually play that bad on Sunday.
They played quite well. They actually put up a very good fight, I thought.
But what I'm getting at is that Snodgrass is the big fish in a very small pond. Like, he is not a player. Like, if he left, Hull would go down without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Is that Matt Downey or Graham?
They're already going down, in my opinion, but...
And it might not even be Marco Silva's decision to let him go, because I mean they let Livermore go already, and you can't. It's hard to believe that that was his decision, because he was starting to play quite well again. And
You'd
it
like
might
to think
be
one or the other.
Yeah.
To be fair, right. Speaking as someone that's from West Brom, where Jake Livermore's gone, I can tell him for a fact that there's plenty of what he's looking for in West Brom. And I'm not talking about the football.
If you're saying attractive women,
Chips?
it's definitely a no.
I'm talking about his cocaine problem.
See, that's a touchy subject for him.
But yeah, gets his nose up. But so you've got Chelsea top of the league by how many points now? Is it, boys?
8 points.
I think it is. Yeah.
If you do not win the league this season, you threw it away yourself at this point.
I don't want to be the Liverpool.
If we lose the league this season, it will come down to our, I think, lack of. It's got to be defensively. It can't be lack of goals because we score enough of them.
But that's the point I'm making. If anybody else wins the league, they haven't won it because of how good they were. They've won it because Chelsea threw it away at this point, because there's no other candidate.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you there, Carl. Sorry. The baton seems to be passed from team since the start of the season, or rather since Chelsea started going on this unbelievable run. The baton's kind of been passed from team to team as to who's going to catch them up. Like initially, it looked like it was going to be City, but they had a bit of a dip, and then Liverpool came into a bit of form, and they've had a bit of a dip. Now it's looking like it's going to be Tottenham who might challenge them all the way. So, and you could see them, they probably won't keep up this level of form throughout the whole season. So, I mean, Chelsea could easily have this wrapped up by, end of February, really.
End of February.
Yeah.
The Chelsea fan pages on Twitter and also on the Shed End Wall, which is the Chelsea community page, I've already started taking bets on us winning the league in April at the away game at Old Trafford.
Or that.
Just think, hi Mourinho, we won, and we won the league. Bye!
The thing is that we're, this Chelsea side is amazing, and a lot of people have said to me, oh, is this the greatest Chelsea side that's ever played in the Premier League? Well, it isn't, because we haven't won anything yet. This team's not won anything yet. Hypothetically, we could go on a really bad run and then lose this title still. It still can happen, but at this precise moment, this team is amazing.
I think the last time a team had this much of a lead at the top was Mourinho's second spell in charge, or second season in 2005-06, was it?
Yeah.
It might have been, yeah, because
I think it's back for us then, yeah.
It says a lot of how, not just of how Chelsea are dominating, but like the other teams are not performing.
No, especially this weekend with everyone dropping points.
Yeah.
This weekend was totally summed up by the Swansea-Liverpool game, just going, well, this is a nailed-on game, and after 90 minutes, okay then.
Maybe not.
I think what it is, attacking-wise, there isn't a problem with any of the top four, it seems. Liverpool still can score. Chelsea still scoring. Tottenham, Man United, Man City, they're all still scoring. Do you think the problem is all just defensively for all these other sides in the title race?
We've been saying this
I think
about
especially Liverpool.
We've been saying this about Liverpool ever since we started the podcast. Their mentality is, as long as we can score more than them, we're fine.
To be honest,
such a terribly naive kind of stance to take. It really is. It's exactly like the 13-14 season when they were blowing teams away, but it was, scores like 3-2, 6-3. They were conceding a lot, but they had the front line to, score more than the opposition.
But the problem is they haven't got, and it's what Man United are suffering with this season, and it's what Arsenal have been suffering with since they won the FA Cup in 2005. They haven't got a leader in the back line. None of these teams have got a leader in that back line. I don't care what anyone says, Chris Smalling's not a leader for Man United.
He's been as much of a leader as we've had in the back since, I suppose, Vidic left.
Well, I suppose...
Yeah, I get your point.
I suppose we should move on to it. And we're going to not do what I thought we might do when we bring this up about Man United. Obviously, David is a Man United fan if you've read his stuff. We won't make it the sixth story of the podcast just to go with the flow. But are Man United ever going to get out of that sixth position, ever?
You mean it for the rest of the season?
God knows.
Just looking
they're
at
going to
the
reserve it like Arsenal do fourth.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the table now. There's a 5-point gap between us and Everton, who are in 7th. We're only 2 points behind City. So I think if we can start turning... We have more draws than anyone else in the top 9. So if we could start turning those draws into wins, be a little more sort of ruthless towards the end of games, I think we could definitely challenge City, maybe even Liverpool, to get a top 4 spot.
With that gap, it makes the Manchester Derby coming up a lot more tasty.
Massive game.
To be honest with you, I think United have to finish in the top 4 for the season to be considered anything not a failure.
Yeah, I think this season...
No, this season is an utter failure in Manchester.
Oh.
There is no shadow of a doubt.
Bit harsh.
Guardiola, who should have won the title on paper. I'm sorry, at the beginning of the season, everyone said he would win the Premier League title. And you had Mourinho, who was going to fight him for it. That's beginning of the season what everyone said, and Chelsea would finish in 3rd or 4th, yeah? We're now looking at 2 sides that can maybe finish 4th.
It's definitely going to be a battle between... I think Liverpool, City and United will be the 3 teams challenging for that last.
It's a bit early to calling that Arsenal are guaranteed in the top 3. They haven't had their usual February, everyone's injured, oh my gosh, we're going to fail. Wenger
It's
out.
coming.
Finish February, March, we'll be back. Wenger out. All the usual stuff.
I think it's slightly harsh to say what Matthew said about City and United, because I mean, yeah, Pep Guardiola and Mourinho are obviously great managers, but I mean, they're 2 managers in brand new jobs, and Guardiola, this is a brand new league, so yeah, City were favourites at the big, I think before the season started, but that was purely based on what Guardiola had done in the past. I mean, he was still coming into a brand new squad, a squad in transition. It was nowhere near perfect, so I think it's a little bit harsh to say that they should be doing a lot better, especially when we're only sort of halfway through the season.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a valid point, but for at the beginning of the season, to have a manager associated with the Premier League title so much that you might as well give it to him how much he was associated with winning it.
Yeah.
To then maybe get 4th place, I think it's just a bit of a shock to the system for Man City fans who last season finished 4th. So nothing improved.
I will say this, Matt, right? We are 14 and a half minutes into this podcast, and already you've put across your sincere dislike for northern teams. You've gone in hard on Hull, the 2 Manchester sides, and Liverpool as well. What's next?
It would be Villa, but you're not in the league anymore.
Newcastle aren't there anymore, so I can't dig into them.
Well, Championship's more exciting anyway.
Yeah, but
I'm actually quite enjoying the Championship, to be fair. Like, who is going to be the top 2, and then who's getting the playoffs? Because it seems to keep changing every so often.
Well, you say who's going to be the top 2. It's who's going to finish next to Newcastle in 2nd.
But
you say that Brighton at the top.
Brighton are doing really well at the moment.
It should be Newcastle, Brighton 1-2, and then any one of 10 teams could win the playoffs.
But you can never predict the Championship. No. We tried this so many times last year and the year before. We just got it hopelessly wrong.
But
I think each year we've said Huddersfield has gone up.
Back to like Man United and what you were saying, David, about the team and where they could finish.
Yeah.
Do you think that they need to be thinking more into the future rather than worrying about Zlatan Ibrahimovic next season being their main man still?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, when Mourinho was first appointed, I thought that this first season is just going to be to get a squad back playing again and sort of maybe challenge for the top four. If we get the top four, that's a really good season for us, I thought. I think when Mourinho first was appointed, I predicted that we'd finish top four this season and win the title next season. Because I think by next season he'll have a squad more to his liking, especially during the summer as well. And I think exactly. And I think we've been linked with Griezmann for a massive summer move for Griezmann. I think he's top of the list for Mourinho, and I think if we can get him in, because Zlatan signed, I think he signed a 1-year extension, so he'll be there next season. But there's no guarantee whatsoever. I think he scored close to 19. I think he scored 19 goals this season, which, to be honest, I mean, I love Zlatan, but I did not expect him to be as prolific as he has been so far. I thought he'd be sort of in and out of the squad, a goal here and there. But he's been unbelievable, and he'll be there next season as well. But
next
season could be a swan song, really.
Let's be honest, though. Like, I get what you're saying, Tony, about United should be looking for the future. But has Jose Mourinho ever wanted to play his kids?
That's true, but how can he's looking at a 35-year-old, and don't get me wrong, Zlatan has proved that age isn't an issue, but he has got to think that the moment Zlatan Ibrahimovic gets an injury, who can play up front for United that's going to score him the goals?
Totally agree.
Well, he could play Rashford, but I mean Rashford. Well,
he's
Rashford's
one man who's suffered under Mourinho.
He's been used. He's been used as a sub. I think he's had two starts in the league, and about 13 substitute appearances. He's been played out in the wing. Martial as well. He started as a striker and they got pushed out to the wing. Rashford started as a striker. He got pushed out to the wing. So, I mean, yeah, if Zlatan gets injured, there's not a whole lot of options, really.
I think Martial's got to play down the middle more. I really do. I think he's got to play down the middle more. He provides so much more pace, strength in that final third.
I don't know. I think he's starting to get used to playing on the wing, especially the last few games. He knows how to beat a man. He's got some great skill on him. And his delivery into the box is usually pretty good. So I think he's starting to get used to playing there. But yeah, no, you're right. He was definitely more sort of prolific as a striker.
Yeah.
So that's Chelsea, the two Manchester clubs in a way done. Liverpool sort of done. We don't want to talk about Arsenal because it's the same old conversation.
Especially with Matt in the fray.
Let's move it down the league a little bit, and I want to talk about two London clubs in a way, West Ham and Crystal Palace, because when we started sort of 2016, these were two teams that you were looking at and going, you know what, this time next year they could be in Europe.
And it's now this time this year.
What happened? Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, Crystal Palace...
Pardew had the worst calendar year ever.
I know. Crystal Palace's squad is one of the best all-round squad with depth and whatnot in the league, yet the players just haven't performed at all.
Yeah, because if you do say to someone like goalkeepers, isn't it Mandanda, who they signed from Lille, their striking options include Benteke and Remy. In midfield they've got Kabay. And you list those players, you think, oh yeah, that's a fairly decent mid-table pushing for 8th maybe team. When you show, no, they're pretty much fighting for their lives against the likes of Swansea, Hull, and whoever else is down that low.
But
I've been terribly disappointed with Andros Townsend, because when he was left out of the England squad, a squad that was like wholly devoid of what they really needed in the Euros, I think, was a natural winger. I think they had Sterling and Lallana, but neither of them you'd really consider natural wingers. Townsend is a natural winger. And I thought when he got left out and made the move to Palace, he would have a massive point to prove. But he's really not doing it, and he's been in and out of the side. So, yeah, he's been a massive letdown, I think.
The weird thing is, I still think of Andros Townsend as this potential great young winger, but he's like 27 now.
27.
He's fairly old, yeah.
His best years are either going to happen right now or behind him.
This is his prime. According to a lot of footballers, this should be his prime. now should be. So, like, Ozil was his best football when he was 27, 28, which is now. So his best football is now. The same with Townsend. He should be doing it.
I think Townsend's too selfish a player anyway, because any time he gets into the opposition half, let alone the last 25 yards, he just looks at goal and goes, "I'm going for it, boys. Deal with it."
He got that one goal for England. I think I can do this again.
Yeah.
But would you say that one player that is overrated for the last probably year and a bit is probably Johan Cabaye?
I think he's been overrated for quite a while, to be honest.
Because you look at the way he played. I mean, the talent's still there. Like, form is temporary, class is permanent. Definitely applies with him. But he's doing like what Fernando Torres done when he joined Chelsea. Like, he's now just gone off the face of the earth with his football. Like,
I think it was partly... Sorry.
Somehow.
Yeah, no, I think it was partly... He was. I thought he was very good at Newcastle. And then he made the move to PSG, where he got very few games. I don't know, maybe that killed his confidence a small bit.
Probably.
You know, but no, I still think he's a very good player with a lot still to
he's
kind of
played in the
give.
French squad, isn't he? So it don't help.
To be honest with you, I've never rated Cabaye at all, personally.
Really?
Just because...
And Newcastle, he was linked with the biggest clubs in the
Yeah,
Premier League.
he was linked with the biggest club in the Premier League because he stood out at a Newcastle side that were completely underachieving.
Yes,
He
true.
still wasn't that good. I think they finished 16th when they should have been finishing 6th that season with the squad they had.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
I've never rated him personally. Moving on to West Ham, Dimitri Payet, Judas, all of this nonsense. Do you think the West Ham fans have a right to feel betrayed? Because I don't personally, but...
I think that...
Because they're not really the club.
Say that again, sorry, I think your connection went really weird there, Matt. Sorry.
No, because they're not a big club. Yes, they've got one of the biggest stadiums in England, and yes, they were trying to get in the Europa League. But let's be realistic here. They're probably the fourth biggest team in London.
Yeah. I mean...
So, as soon as things went down the pan, any player of that, at the start season, any player of that calibre, if things start hitting the fan, he will think, this isn't for me. I don't really want to spend Wednesday nights travelling to Cardiff and Carlisle. If he can get a move back to France, he would go for it.
Well, so this is the thing. His agent said about how he hasn't settled in England. His family isn't happy. His wife isn't happy. I mean, let's be honest. If his wife isn't happy, he ain't got his choice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's going back to France, and anyone else can deal with it.
There's two things that I think need to be taken into consideration when you think about this Payet saga. And that is, it's collided with West Ham's bad form, for one. Once they get in the top half of the table again, you won't hear anything more about it.
Well, they've been quite good recently.
Yeah.
I think 2 wins in a row. And Andy Carroll's been really good. Yeah.
But Andy Carroll's due an injury.
And they are in the top half of the
What was
table.
that
They're
goal?
10th.
Andy Carroll's goal he did the other week. Where did that come from? I was expecting him to try it, come off injured, and be out until June.
But what is it? But the main issue for me is, and I do disrespect West Ham for doing this because I think it's a bit harsh on Payet. They've said they're not going to sell him. They refuse to sell him because of his professional attitude, which, don't get me wrong, is not good. But
I don't
if
see
the
the
player
point.
doesn't want to be playing for your club, let him go.
But it's not even just that. They've said we're not going to sell him, but we're not going to play him either.
Like,
Well, then what's the point?
Is
You're
he
paying
still
him
training
wages
with
to
the
sit
under-
there.
23s.
It's-
This is all back from 2012-13 when Chelsea tried to sell Malouda. No one would take Malouda because of his high wage demands, and for the whole season, we're like, right, if you're not willing to take a pay cut, you'll train with the under-23s and we just won't play you. So for the whole season, Malouda was with us, but nothing happened, and we were at a point where it's like, we need another midfielder. Play him.
I don't think it did Payet much good as well. I don't know if Bilic could have avoided it, but I mean, it was Bilic who kind of outed him in his press conference. He said, he doesn't want to play for the club anymore. I don't know if they could have kept that a little bit quieter, really, and sort of played off as, they could have done the whole Costa thing where, he's unfit and, you can't play or whatever. I don't know. It seems like, did he really need to say that in his press conference? I just thought that was a bit kind of a bit on the nose.
And since then, he's always been arguing with the journalists, saying, "I don't want to talk about Payet anymore." Well, you brought it up, mate.
You brought it
know what
up,
I mean?
yeah.
Like, it's the big story.
It's like when people put those Facebook statuses up, something's gone wrong, and you just go, "Oh, what's up?" It's like, doesn't matter. Well, don't say anything then.
Yeah, exactly. So on the same lines as Payet, as I whack the mic with my bottle, as on the same lines as Payet, we've got this China influx, or outflux is probably the right word, coming in.
Mm.
I know
a lot of people like sweet and sour sauce.
there's a lot of opinions on this. We'll start with Matt Thowney, 'cause I know he's got something to say on this. He always has.
What's
Tony
this?
Graham was here. China,
this?
mate.
China.
It's just players that don't play for their clubs anymore. English football don't need to worry. Personally, I don't think. Not in the slightest.
Are you offended by China coming in and buying all these players for stupid money?
No.
Good.
No, I'm not.
I don't think necessarily it's all players who aren't getting games for their club. I mean, Graziano Pella was the starting striker for Southampton, and he went off to China, and a couple of other players as well. Yeah, I guess
32.
so. I mean, there's only really, with the whole China thing, I mean, it boils down to two differing opinions, or 2 points of view rather. It's the player's point of view and the fan's point of view. You can kind of understand from the player's point of view if, like you said, they're kind of 30-odd, and they want that last final paycheck to have a much better retirement. You can kind of understand from their point of view if someone's going to say, you're on 50 grand a week now. Do you want to come over to China and sort of rake in 250 grand a week, 300 grand a week? You kind of think to yourself, it would be difficult to say no to that. Really, I mean, you're losing you're probably going to lose your competitive edge, and if you're in the national side, you'll probably lose your place there, like Pella will.
Yeah, but I know this sounds harsh, but if I was Pella or Oscar, for example, who's a bit younger, I wouldn't need any competitive edge or national place if I was being paid that much amount of money.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I think that's why players get lambasted so much for it. It's like, you're almost abandoning your, like you said, your competitive edge just to earn as much as you can, really. But I mean, it's sorry, go on.
No, I interrupted you. You go.
No, I was just going to say that. I mean, it's kind of hard. You can understand, especially from a fan's point of view. The word greed comes into it a lot. But I mean, if you're offered to earn 10 times your salary tax free, it's kind of extremely difficult to say. You're certainly, your head would be turned at least.
Yeah,
I'm getting
it.
really fed up with these people that are going, "Oh, China are ruining football. They're taking all the Premier League players, all of this and all of that." And I'm like, so in the mid-90s, when the Premier League was a growing league, and
they were exactly the same.
Yeah, and they took the likes of Gianfranco Zola, who was sort of a aging figure in Serie A, and played stupid money for him because he wasn't probably worth it at the time, and he's gone on to be a legend for Chelsea, and him and others have built up the league and get all the foreigners come in. What's the issue? Do you know what I mean? It's China are just looking to grow the league. That's all.
They showed that all the current international players who have gone out to play in China, they haven't been selected since their transfer. But like you're saying, with the sort of like the money side of aspect, all the players like, no, I want to help. Most of the players have gone out there and said, no, I want it for football opportunities. Like Mikel, he left Chelsea to go to China, and quite obviously he was going to play more in the Chinese league than he was at Chelsea because of the way he was like 7th choice midfielder. But with Oscar, he came out and said, no, it was for the money because my family back in Brazil, this could settle them for life. My mum, who's in hospital, this is paying her bills. And it's quite refreshing having a player go, you know what? Yeah, I did it for the 600 a week.
See, I respect him more for the fact that he's not only come out and said that, but like the fact that he's took it for the money instead of staying for a playing place at Chelsea, because I get the whole sportsman side of it and you want to win all the trophies you can, but he's looking at not just his kids, but his kids' kids and his kids' kids' kids. Do you know what I mean? And the generations. And
because Oscar's not even that old. What is he? 25?
Something
20.
Like that.
Oh, he's 26, 27, I think. Still young though. Yeah.
So.
Just another thing with China as well. What was it? I think the Chinese government kind of stepped in recently, didn't they? And sort of put sort of a barrier on what the Chinese clubs, how many foreigners the Chinese clubs can spend. Because I think initially they were allowed to have 4 foreign players and 1 Asian player. But I think that's now been reduced to just 3 foreign players.
Yeah.
And I think I read something somewhere that said, I think a couple of days before that came into place, players like Falcao and Cavani were being linked with clubs, and I think especially with Falcao, they were in advanced talks.
Oh, Falcao would have gone, definitely.
And I think that might have broken down because
They're
of that
sort
new
of bringing
transfer.
they're trying to implement what the MLS have, which they've lucratively called the Beckham rule, where you can have so many either current or ex-internationals from abroad, or with the size of trying to develop the football within China. Because I think the MLS, their rosters they're limited to 5 foreign players. So like Orlando's got Kaká from Brazil, and then a few from Italy, and then other sides in Europe.
See, that's the difference between the Premier League, where it was in the late 90s or mid-90s or whatever, to the Chinese league now. England was a well-established footballing nation, a football team. Do you know what I mean? China want to be the best team in the world.
Thing is, that isn't going to happen in a continent where football isn't. Well, they're trying to make it, but isn't the biggest sport in the continent.
But that's why they're doing
When
this.
the Premier League,
I think they want to make it that way, though.
But when the Premier League was established, football was the biggest sport was one of the biggest sports in Europe at the time.
Yeah, but
So I think that's the difference.
the English game wasn't. All the English players were going off to Italy and Serie A because that's where the glamour was at the time. Nobody watched the English game. No one cared for it. So they're in similar positions. I get what you're saying, but I think China will grow now. You will see China grow.
I just don't. I'm not convinced. Like, I don't see the moment if Diego Costa left Chelsea and went to China and earned all that money, then I would say, okay, that's a big statement. But there's
Don't rule it
no
out.
one I've seen leave a big side to go there.
No, I get that.
I think, one that springs to mind was Lavezzi from PSG. But I can't really think of any others.
I'd
Oscar's
say
probably the
you could
biggest one.
say-
Well, Ramirez went from Chelsea, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
was he? But again, a bench player.
Yeah.
But by the
Oscar
time
was
he
probably
left
the
Chelsea,
biggest name because of his age. He still had a lot to give.
I think the biggest one.
I think Lavezzi still had a lot to give, yeah.
has got to be Jackson Martinez. Because he was linked with moves to the biggest clubs in Europe.
But
and
he
then
failed at
suddenly,
Atletico.
oh, I'm going to China.
Hulk also did that as well, because he went from Porto to Zenit, and then Hulk's been linked with, always seems to end up being linked with Chelsea and Tottenham, but then he went to China.
But that was a weird
And
thing with
Axel
Hulk.
Witsel as well.
Yeah, Witsel went. He was going to Juventus, but because Juventus decided, no, he went to China.
Yeah, but he's gone from Zenit, where he's a big team in an unwatched league, to a Chinese team in an unwatched league. So it's not
With a
much of
bigger
change for him, is
population,
it?
so...
Yeah, that's it. We should move on because we can talk about this for ages and ages. But there is a week to go in the transfer window. Is it just me, or is there no big transfer?
The biggest transfer
Nothing
is
yet.
Morgan Schneiderlin going to Everton, by far.
Who,
Great
sorry?
signing.
Schneiderlin to Everton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if that's
That
the
was
biggest
fantastic
transfer of the
signing.
window, I'm disappointed. To be honest
Yeah,
with
but
you.
what did you... what was it like we could have expected from this transfer window?
That's my point, yeah.
Like, the sagas always happen. These things always happen. But I think the last time something big went through was when Torres left Liverpool to go Chelsea.
I think a transfer that's happened this month that possibly isn't as big as it was made out to be was Berahino going to Stoke.
Yeah.
So I mean that's been dragging on for years and years. And I think, what was it, Tottenham were willing to pay a couple of years back 25-30 million for him, and now he's gone for 12 million.
Berahino has absolutely destroyed his own career. And
He really has.
Be a bargain? Could that turn out to be a bargain?
I think so. I really think so. I mean, it might take
it's-
him a while to get his fitness back, but I mean, he'll be the starting striker every week, I think.
Because Sparky could certainly do something with Stoke that Portsmouth and Tottenham used to do, and that's having a little and large striker with Peter knocking out to Peter Crouch, who sets off Berahino to score a bundle of goals.
Yeah, but no, it's going to be Boney, in it, when he comes back from Africa. That's the strike partnership. Boney.
He's
and
not been in
Berahino.
great form, though, has he?
Boney wasn't really playing though. It was more, and Arnautovic.
Yeah,
Marko
Arnautovic,
Arnautovic, yeah.
See, the thing is with Berahino, we won't see the best of him for another year and a half because
of his fitness
he's
levels,
played with the reserves for 12 months, really. So there's no way he can
overall,
get back.
who would you say, like, I mean, obviously we want the dream transfers to happen, like Griezmann go to United, like all the big transfers. But if you could say one that could genuinely happen by the end of this window, who would you like to see at your club? Like, Carl, who would you love to see come into Aston Villa?
Oh, well.
But like could genuinely happen, not something stupid.
To be honest with you, we've brought a few already and we've made really good signings, I think. I think we need a strong... we're linked with Hurahan from Barnsley, which would be a good signing. But I think we need a consistent attacker at the minute.
Yeah.
So we've got attacking talent: McCormack, Ayew, Grealish, Gested's just gone. Kodja. Do you know what I mean? There's good attacking talent, but only Kodja scored goals this season.
I see you've been linked with Jordan Rhodes.
Yeah, but his price is too overpriced for what he's going to offer you.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
He's a bench player for Middlesbrough. Like, I don't know what happened there.
And they still want 15 million for him. Do you know what I mean? That ain't
What's going to happen to Kyle? What's going to happen to Ross McCormack? Because that story was hilarious. The one where he was supposed to turn up at training and his gates wouldn't open in his house, so Steve Bruce got in his car and drove over to his house and
jumped the fence.
What's his situation there?
Well, I mean,
the mechanic was a day late. So
I saw a picture yesterday. It was one of his DVD covers where it's like Steve Bruce's face and Ross McCormack's face, and it's the title of the film was Over the Gate or something like that. And it was just but I think there's two ways to go about it. From a human point of view, it's obvious that Ross McCormack's suffering with something. He's got personal problems going on. There's a lot of talk about sort of depression and stuff like that, which is a bit risky for journalists to go into. But at the same time, you've got to be professional, and a gate not working isn't a good enough reason not to turn up to training at all. You do that at any other job, you get sacked.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? It's a fact of the matter. He hasn't been good enough all season at all. Bruce has decided he's not going to stay at the squad, stay in the team anyway. So he'll be gone by the summer, I should think. And it's a shame because I thought he'd be brilliant for Villa, but.
That's true. Yeah, I did as well.
On the talk of Championship strikers, what do you make of the situation? Isn't it Russell Martin at Fulham?
Chris Martin.
Yeah, Chris Martin.
Chris Martin, yeah. I think Chris Martin's a great Championship striker, and he has been for a few years, but his age goes against him. He's, 31 now? 32?
Yeah.
Something like that. He isn't going to be playing Premier League football. This is the highest he's going to get. I think he wants to go back to Derby, now that Steve McLaren's back there, but...
Yeah. But what about you, David? Anyone particular you would want at Man United?
I don't know. There hasn't been a whole lot of news about income. I mean, it's all been outgoing, really, with Schneiderlin and Depay. I think one player we've been sort of consistently linked with is Lindelof at Benfica. And I think I heard recently Chelsea might be willing to kind of fight for him as well. But I mean,
if we take him away from Mourinho, that'd be amazing.
Be like Pedro, the worst. But I don't know. I think that would be a good signing. We do have a lot of centre backs, and he does. I mean, there's this kind of common thing where people are starting to say that Mourinho now has a settled side, that that's starting to win games and stuff. But there's a lot of rotation going on at the back. I mean, especially at left back as well with Darmian and Blind. So I don't know. And with
where's Luke Shaw?
Luke Shaw's injured, and I think he's back in training soon. But I think there's been, like I said, there's been a good bit of rotation. But I think someone like Lindelof, who to be honest I haven't seen much of at all, but what I have seen, YouTube clips and that, he's looked quite solid. So I think he's the only one really we've been linked with. I think all the main ones would be. I think the big transfers will come in the summer. Mourinho.
They normally do, don't they, these days?
Yeah.
So
It's very rare we get a January transfer window like we did back a few years, like when Matt said, when Torres and Luiz and Suarez and
Andre Arshavin.
And Arshavin as well. But we'll do get that odd random one where we just go, well, no one saw that was coming.
Yeah.
What about
Um,
you, Matt? Anyone in particular you would say for Chelsea?
Well, there was one I think at the start of the window which has gone quiet, which was I think it was either Isco or James. That was rumbling.
Like Isco.
Howard looked like it might be a dead cert to go to Chelsea at one stage.
Yeah, because that was rumbling around for about a week, and it's suddenly gone rather quiet.
I think Chelsea needs to sign a not young centre back, but someone they can build the next 5 years around at the back.
We don't need to. In my opinion, we don't need to buy any more defenders because Kurt Zuma's coming back to finish, but we've also got Christensen coming back from loan.
But is that?
But would you say he's good enough for Chelsea?
Is it say
If Barcelona are willing to pay 25 million for him, then yes.
You don't have to be a good centre back to play for Barcelona. One of Barcelona's best centre backs at the minute is Thomas Vermaelen.
No,
I mean?
it's Mathieu and Piqué.
No, I know, but I mean, like that's who they see as one of their top centre backs because they don't need top centre backs. I don't think Christensen and Zuma are someone that Chelsea can build 5 years around where they're going to go. We're going to be title winning every season and Champions League sort of chasing and.
One of the best, defenders I think probably in the world in a few years will be Samuel Umtiti.
Oh, at Barcelona, yeah, he looks really good.
Defender.
I remember watching him for Leon a couple of years ago, and he just looked a class above at the back. So,
in my defence, I did manage him a few times on FIFA.
Hey.
You also sold him. You also sold him because you thought he was slow.
Yeah, but to be in my defence, Barcelona they offered me 40 million. I had to take it.
I went in for him on Football Manager, but he turned me down.
And then what was it? I bought Memphis Depay, and he was awful.
Wait, you replaced a left back with Memphis Depay?
Yeah.
No wonder he was awful. Anyway, I also want to speak about while we're on a certain refereeing fellow that's been in the headlines, so to speak, Mr. Mike Dean, because this is really annoying me at this point. Because have you saw all these articles, particularly like the clickbait articles from like Sport Bible and all that crap, but Mike Dean has been demoted because of terrible decisions. Mike Dean is going to be back in the Premier League. What a shock. Is it? He wasn't demoted in the first place. They needed a strong referee to do a big Yorkshire derby and big game in the Championship, and now he's back in the Premier League because we haven't got enough refs as it is. Do you know what I mean?
I can understand, like, with refereeing, I don't really know anyone who would go, what do I want to be with my career? I'm going to be a referee. No one does that.
No one wants to anymore.
Exactly.
Referees are dying
No one wants
now.
to anymore because
I think it depends on how you're treated at school.
Because bullied into a referee.
Yeah.
But like they're trying so many campaigns to respect the referee, and the referee's decision is final. Yet every day you see on like Sky Sports News this ref watch with Dermot Gallagher. BT Sport have got Howard Webb. They are looking for reasons to go against the referee, and if we keep doing that, the referee, we're going to not have referees.
Well, there's a big thing this past week come out that it's growing. There's a growing sort of support. There's going to be a huge ref strike at some point, which has happened in Spain and it's happened in France and Germany in the past. And to be fair, since then in those countries, you see the players respect referees more.
Because they're trying to bring in. They try to bring in what rugby have, and they're trying to trial it that only the captain speak to the referee.
Yeah. But that's not going to work. But yes,
that's not work.
There's a big
especially
sort.
if your keeper is your captain.
There's going to be a big strike.
You've got to go from one end of the pitch to the other just to have a chat.
Yeah.
If
was that a throw-in?
If I was one of the refs, I'd look at it and go, okay, so final day of the season or first game of the season where there's all these fixtures. Oh, it's in 3 days. Yeah, we're going on strike.
Yeah.
And screw everyone over and say, respect us or we won't do it. Because they don't deserve half the flat. Don't get me wrong, Mike Dean's made some horrible decisions. That one against United in the West Ham game was horrific.
Because isn't it something 5 of his last 6 red cards have all been overturned?
Yeah, something like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's been making good decisions. But this whole thing about, he needs to be playing, he needs to be demoted because of all these decisions. And, shock, he's back in the Premier League. Like, Joe and Eden Hazard wasn't playing well for Chelsea for like a year. Was there headlines like, shock, Eden Hazard starts for Chelsea despite bad form? Do you know what I mean? It's the same situation.
There's not too much.
I get really annoyed.
Speaking of refs, isn't Clattenburg thinking of going to China?
I heard that, yeah.
Well, that'll be the transfer of the summer. Clattenburg swaps England for China.
Who buys him, though? Who buys him? Do you know what I mean?
Don't know.
It's got to be something with Red Devils at the end, hasn't it?
Oh, speaking of referees, have you seen who is the new head of referees for FIFA?
No.
Luigi Connolly?
Yes, that's needed. That is needed. Because you don't backchat that guy.
No,
you don't.
If someone backchats to him, they are getting sent off for a month.
It's the eyes, isn't it?
Even on this podcast, where I highly doubt he will ever listen to this, but I still don't want to say a bad word just in case, because he will hunt me down. And he will find me, and he will kill me.
He'll take you.
He will take me, yeah.
What did you guys think of, Matt just mentioned FIFA there, just briefly, what you thought about the idea to revamp the World Cup for 2026?
I'm not a fan.
There's differing, it's, I don't know, I think it's, FIFA's main line is that it'll give lesser teams or smaller countries the chance to play in a major finals.
I don't want to go out to Iceland again in a major tournament.
That was the thing, wasn't it? As soon as that was the worst teams for England to lose to.
I have mixed feelings on it, to be honest, because I understand the fans' point of view, and like me as a fan, I don't particularly want to watch Macedonia versus Gibraltar in the World Cup. Do you know what I mean, or whatever? But at the same time, a side like Macedonia or Finland or anything like that, playing in the World Cup will do such good wonders for their national game.
I can also understand why they're doing it, because you can almost predict who's going to be in the World Cup now.
But that's not good.
With Europe, you can predict who are going to be the top 13. With Africa, you can predict the top 5. With the Conan Bowl, it's the top 6 and the same 6 every year, with just maybe one changing for Bolivia.
Yeah, but it still doesn't change anything, because if you look at the way they're looking to do it, where you've got the groups, all it does is prolong it. So you've got qualifying, and then an extra qualifying, and then knockout round, basically.
But
there's definitely,
the winner still plays 7 games.
Yeah, nothing changes.
There's also the way Europe qualify for the World Cup is changing now, because after the 2018 format, where they're putting in this League of Nations thing where there's different tiers and different leagues in each tier, because we briefly touched on it a few years back when they introduced it, and it's just, why?
Yeah.
I like playing San Marino. It's a guaranteed win.
There's definitely pros to the new kind of format, but there's also sort of significant cons. I think it's going to be, groups of 3?
Yeah.
Where the top team goes through. So that means that, we got a kind of glimpse of what it could look like in the Euros, where first, second, and then the third place could go through as a playoff. So I don't know how many draws were in that group stage, but I mean, Portugal got 3 draws and went on to win it. So, that could be from a viewer's point of view.
To be fair, go on.
What do you make of Van Banter's decision to get rid of the offside rule?
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's like such an... I just don't get. I don't get that at all.
Bringing back the Thowny position of goal hanger.
If it helps, Christian Benteke will score lots of goals. So,
Belgium.
I do think that getting rid. I understand why he brought it up, because there's been watching a 0-0 is the most dire thing. Sometimes I've sat there and watched the game and thought to myself, why have I wasted my afternoon watching this? But I think that we've got to look at it from this perspective. If you do this, if offside is banished, then you've got all these goal hangers. Defenders don't stand a chance anymore, especially with the tactics they use these days.
Offside isn't going to be banished. It's not going to happen.
Surely, I mean, if it did, even if it did, though, surely they wouldn't just say, okay, there's no offside, do what you like. Surely there would be new rules implemented where you couldn't just stand next to the keeper for 90 minutes.
It'd be probably something like that.
It would make the Cup of Nations, African Cup of Nations, a bit more exciting, because I think there's only been 3 games which haven't been a draw.
There's been 40 games so far. 18 of them have been a draw.
Yeah, I know most of them have been draws, but there's been some really good football played, if you watch it.
Wasn't it? Oh, who was it last night? I think it was Zimbabwe, Tunisia. It was like 4-2.
Yeah, there's goals. No one can defend. I'm actually enjoying some of it. But I have to say, that clip of the goalkeeper will go down in history.
Oh, that was amazing.
What time wasting that is. That is, honest to God, like, Man United need to sign him up.
He has brought in the new Fergie time. That is amazing.
Who's he play for? Was it Zimbabwe?
It was Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe time.
There's a match on tonight, I think, to look out for. It's Morocco, Ivory Coast, and I think it's a winner takes all.
Yeah.
Pretty much to go.
Come on, Ivory Coast.
I think I'm going to watch Brian
Codger.
Cardiff.
It's also, I think it's also Egypt, Ghana with Wenger getting second.
Actually,
Egypt won the Africa Cup of Nations more times than anyone else, I think, with 7.
I'm saying I want Ivory
Ghana
Coast
being the underrated ones after that World Cup in 2010, where they've just gone, now what?
Yeah. I'm saying I want Ivory Coast to win, but if Ivory Coast lose, Jonathan Codger comes back 2 weeks earlier.
It's kind of a bit of an interesting narrative with that Ivory Coast Morocco match, because the Morocco manager, Hervé Renard, I think that's how you pronounce it, he won the Africa Cup of Nations 2 years back with the Ivory Coast. He's actually won it twice. He won it with Zambia in 2012 against Ivory Coast. So, I don't know, he seems like a fairly decent... Morocco were 14-1 to win the AFCON this year. So, I don't know.
The Herve Derby. We're back. We've got to bring them all back. Goals, these stupid derby names. Do it.
Yeah. We've got to do predictions at some point tonight.
Excellent.
Because I think we would be slaughtered by people if we didn't do that.
By the 3 people who listen.
Exactly. They know where we live.
Whoa. There is another one.
Oh, yeah, Graham, because he's not here.
Yeah, Matt, I'll say, Matt, you don't count. But yeah, so we will do that at some point. Before that, I think we've got one more sort of talking point, and that is the relegation race, because we haven't touched on that just
race.
yet. Well, yeah,
the race
to survival, I suppose is the right word.
Come on, let's go.
Because Swansea have made it interesting now, haven't they?
Yeah.
So
what a result! I don't think
amazing.
anyone saw that. Yeah, unbelievable.
You got Palace down there in trouble too. You've got
Hull City,
Sunderland.
Sunderland who just signed Lescott this evening, I think.
So they're going down.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going down. What a stupid transfer that is. Oh my God.
No one. David Moyes cannot back the point of, he's a good defender in the Premier League after last season. Just can't
in fairness, Lescott probably played his best football under Moyes.
Yes.
10
years ago.
Last season, I was like, you're kidding me, right?
Oh, Johnny Lescott.
Getting rid of that Villa, that's what we like.
There's a lot of footballers out there that you look at and go, you are a waste of a footballer. Johnny Lescott falls into that category.
You should have chosen another profession.
Yeah.
You should have been a car salesman or something. Seems to like that.
Or could have gone in WWE.
What, Lescott?
Yeah.
I'd enjoy that. I'd enjoy that.
Just
But yeah, so back to the point. We need to pick 3 teams at this point, because usually we do it a little earlier and try and see how it goes throughout the season. But obviously, because we weren't there. So 3 teams. David.
To go down, I think it will be Hull, Sunderland and Swansea. I think Palace are in the bottom 3 right now, but and Allardyce really hasn't had the best of times.
They'll get the points.
I think just given his record alone, I think it's hard to kind of write them off. So yes, Sunderland. Yeah, what did I say? Swansea, Hull, and Sunderland.
Fair play.
Matt Tyne?
Sunderland, definitely, because I can't stand them. See, I don't know what to think about Hull, because under Marco Silva they've been playing good football, but their squad is
paper thin.
Yeah, it's funny because the start of the season under Mike Phelan, when he was still their interim, they were the form team to be. Mike Phelan got manager of the month and they won 3 of the 4 games. But now they've kind of got a squad, but they're not playing. So I think it would be them and possibly Crystal Palace. As much as Big Sam's...
It's an interesting bottom 3 days.
Yeah, much as Big Sam's factor states with him, I don't see him really doing much. He's only
I think
got-
I think if Van Aanholt, he's been linked with Palace, he might be moving there in the next couple of days. He's a good player. I definitely think if he goes to Palace, he won't stop them being, he won't be the reason they won't get relegated, but it would certainly improve the squad.
Everyone loves a left back who can score a goal.
He's replacing that left back they got in the car crash a couple of months ago, isn't he?
Suarez, yeah.
Suarez, right. Yeah, so he's a good player actually, Van Arnold.
I really like him, yeah.
Matt Thurney?
I'm going to stick with my three that I said at the beginning of the season, and that is Hull City, Swansea, and Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough?
Yeah. I don't think they've got the goals. I really don't.
Fair enough.
No creativity.
Yeah, they are
goals
the
of-
lowest scoring home side in the Premier League.
They are. They've got a good defence, so that's what's keeping them afloat.
Yeah, but a good defence. What's it? Burnley had that a few years back, and they still didn't keep him up.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to agree with David, actually, the three that he said with Swansea, Hull and Sunderland, because Sunderland are hopeless and they need to go down.
You say that, they got Jermaine Defoe.
They may have Jermaine Defoe, but it's like they send him out on his own.
He's going to be like he's the only reason that people give them credit for staying up, maybe. But apart from that, it's
because they do play a 9-1 formation, 9 defenders and Defoe.
It's just it's just Defoe going out on his own.
You still got Barini.
They've had a lot of bad injuries as well, in fairness to them, though. I think especially Duncan Watmore. He's a good little player. I think he made a few appearances last season, and he got into the starting 11 this season, and he looked really good. And unfortunately, he got injured. I think he's out for a year now.
Shall I tell you who Duncan Watmore is? The next Callum McManaman. Genuinely, the guy who played really well for the side that were relegated and then just fell off the face of the earth. Yeah. But yeah, so I'd agree with David. Sutherland, Hull and Swansea, I think.
Everyone said Swansea to go down, apart from Matt. Did you say Swansea go down, Matt?
Nah, I'm keeping Swansea up.
Yeah.
Especially if they, after that win against Liverpool and we win the league now, I'm keeping Swansea up. Give Paul Clement a knighthood.
Give him a knighthood. He's going to be in the country for a month.
So we should do these predictions. It's Cup week as well, which always adds a bit of different sort of predictions. We'll start with the EFL Cup.
And I see all the TV games have gone for all the big ones, apart from one random one, which is the quota now.
Yeah, that's the way it works, isn't it? Yes, so EFL Cup on Wednesday at Anfield. Liverpool have got a job on their hands. Already 1-0 down from the first leg. Will the Saints go marching through to the final? David?
I think they will. I just think Liverpool they're not in bad form at the moment, but they've had a small bit of a dip. Coutinho's come back, which is good for them, but he really didn't look at his sharpest against Swansea, and I think he came off after about an hour. So I think...
Sorry to interrupt you, but sorry to interrupt you, but Jurgen Klopp a few weeks ago said about Chelsea how amazing that we went on this 13-game winning run, only to find one team behind, only 6 points behind you. Since then, they haven't won a single game.
Yeah, and I think they've only scored a handful of goals as well, haven't they? They've not really been prolific. I think Southampton are at home, aren't they?
No, this is at Anfield now.
Oh, it's at Anfield. Oh, right. Yeah. I thought it was
everything.
I don't know. So I thought it was Southampton, so maybe I might have to change. But well, I think it could. I don't think Liverpool will run away with it. Certainly. I think it could maybe go to extra time and maybe Liverpool nick it then.
So your score prediction on the night?
My score prediction on the night, so Southampton are 1-0. My score prediction on the night is 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. So you think Liverpool's going through to the final? Matt, yeah.
I think Saints will go looking to protect what they've got and maybe try and nick another goal like they did at St Mary's, but I still think Liverpool will score, so I'm going to go 1-1, Saints going through on aggregate.
Danny?
I'm going to go 1-0 Liverpool.
Then what?
Penalties?
Penalties.
Oh,
Penno!
Saints win it on penalties, Forrester the hero.
Woo!
Cool. So, I'd go 1-1 actually. I fancy Saints to get to the final this year, and I think Liverpool will have a bad week, which we'll go into in a minute. The other semi-final is at the KC Stadium, and it seems to be done and dusted already. Hull versus Man United. United 2-0 up from the first leg. David, have you booking your ticket yet, or for the final?
I'm booking my ticket.
When's your flight?
Oh, booking my ticket for sitting on the couch or watching in work, one of the two. So I that's, like you said, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion, really, isn't it? Don't really see Hull making much of an effort here.
To be honest,
they'll make an effort. I think they'll play. Because I think to get to the final, I think they'll play out of their socks, really. But 2-0 lead, I don't think they'll do it.
So your score prediction?
Score prediction, 2-1 United.
Manti?
I think this could be a real letdown, 0-0.
Danny?
Well, I think we're underestimating one of Hull's greatest ever players, Diamande.
Oh my days!
I'm going to say...
I don't know why we ask him.
1-0 Hull, but Man United go through.
Okay. All right, yeah, okay, we'll go with it. I'm going to go 4-0 United on the night, so it's 6-0 on aggregate.
On Friday, we've got the first of the FA Cup fourth round, and it's a little derby. Derby versus Leicester.
Oh, nice. The Foxes and the Rams. It's actually a weird one, because Derby are in good form under McLaren now, and Leicester, as we know, are struggling. But Leicester will hate to lose that game. Imagine getting knocked out by your rivals. David, I need a score prediction from you.
Who's at home?
Derby are at home.
Derby.
It's at Pride
Derby
Park.
are at home.
The newly renamed and named back Pride Park, by the way.
Pride Park, iPark.
Yeah.
Let's see. Slimani and Mahrez won't be home by then. No, they're still. I think they got knocked out of the African Cup of Nations.
They might be, but they
imagine.
won't play.
Might be available. Yeah. I'm going to go for. I'm going to say 2-1 Derby.
Ooh.
I think they'll do it.
Mattai?
Scrappy 1-0 Leicester.
Oh, BBC would love that. Matt Thurney?
It's going to go to a replay, 0-0.
BBC will love that as well.
More money.
I'm going to go 2-1 Derby. Fancy McLaren to do it, actually, because I don't understand where this Derby resurgence has come from, but it's come from somewhere. Moving on to the Saturday, and it's Liverpool again. We're talking about at Anfield, FA Cup. So will Liverpool under 21s be able to beat Wolves?
Nah, there'll be Lucas in there.
Dave?
5-0 Liverpool.
5-0?
Yeah,
that's harsh.
Do I Paul Lambert's in charge? Why not 6?
It's the Wolves boss now. I was going to go 0-0.
Wolves are in actually pretty good form.
Let me retract that and say maybe 5-0 was a bit much. I'll say 3-1.
3-1.
Oh, giving them a goal.
Matt Ty?
Yep.
I think this could be a repeat of the Plymouth game, 0-0. I think Wolves will just batten the hatches and just hope.
Matt Thurney?
I'm going to go for a comfortable 2-0.
To Wolves, yeah?
Oh, 2-0 Liverpool, sorry.
This is actually going to hurt a little.
Wolves, yeah. Ebanks Blake's going to come out of the blue and just score on 2 goals.
Does he still play for them?
No, he doesn't.
No. This is going to actually hurt a little, but I actually fancy Wolves to win this.
What?
If Liverpool put out the kids, the same kids that couldn't beat Plymouth and just about scraped through on a replay.
I don't think Klopp will make that same mistake again, because I don't really
know.
think he enjoyed doing the replay against Plymouth, so he'll definitely have at least 1 or 2.
Well, that's what the prediction hinges on. If it's a not full strength but mid strength Liverpool squad, they should win comfortably. Yeah. But Wolves are in good form.
It will also depend on what happens this week. If they get knocked out by Southampton on Wednesday, Wolves will be destroyed.
Yeah.
But Carl, I will give you a moment to wash your mouth out if you want.
I'm going to go 1-0 Wolves. Just for the record, though, a couple of weeks ago when Wolves beat Villa, and I tweeted this out afterwards, it hurt me more as a Villa fan, not just to lose to Wolves, but to lose to Paul Lambert. That hurt.
Yeah.
That, honest to God, I just wanted to curl up into a ball and just cry.
He would have enjoyed that.
It was awful. two lower league sides now, Blackburn and Blackpool. How many fans will there actually be there? Maybe 3? 4?
12.
Well, it's at Blackburn, not Blackpool. If it was Blackpool, they just don't get fans.
Their fans are their reserve team.
Fans are just at the beach.
Everyone on trial.
So Dave...
let me see. Blackburn and Blackpool, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
God. I'll
I think that's
say...
everyone's thinking this game.
Yeah. I think Blackpool are doing okay in League Two. I think they're sort of mid-table-ish. I don't know how Blackburn are doing at the moment, but I don't know. I'll say 2-1 Blackpool.
Matt, I will try and whiz through these ones because they're not as interested as some of the other ties.
Yeah, 2-1 Blackpool. Tend to agree with you, Dave.
Matt Thurney?
We're going to go goals, goals, goals.
Ooh.
Going
1-0.
4-3 Blackpool.
7-6.
4-3 Blackburn, did you say, Matt?
Blackpool.
Blackpool. Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
I'm going to go 2-0 Blackburn. We do have a Premier League side in action at Turf Moor, obviously. Burnlaw.
Burnlaw.
That's an ex-manager, isn't it? Burnley versus Bristol City. Again, it's not quite one of the interesting ones, but can Bristol City pull off an upset? David Newman.
No, Burnley have been amazing at home this season, so I'm going to say 2-0 Burnley.
Matt Ty?
2-1 on loan. Tammy Abraham getting a double.
Ooh. Thani?
I have to agree with David, 2-0 Burnley.
I'm going 3-0 Burnley. Yeah, why not? Moving on to the Premier League leaders, Chelsea. London derby against Brentford. This is a game, actually, they struggled with a couple of years ago, if you guys remember. Brentford took you to a replay.
Yeah, I was there.
Will they be able to do it again?
Of course you blooming were.
Our friend from Ireland.
Chelsea. I'll say 3-0 Chelsea.
Matt Tay?
By the way, Carl,
Hmm?
he's our Irish correspondent.
That Irish correspondent. Oh yeah. We've got a segment put out for you in about 10 minutes' time to tell us all about Irish football and how it's all getting on.
What? Oh yeah, because the league is thriving at the moment.
Everyone loves competition.
Yeah.
We'll
don't
let
talk.
you off for
Everyone
this
knows
week.
to talk now.
Matt Ty. Chelsea.
4-0 Chelsea.
Matt Thurney.
I can't see us thumping Brentford, so I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 Chelsea.
I'm going to go 1-0 Chelsea. They're going to scrape it. It's going to be one of those sort of horrible games. Matt Ty, you going this weekend? Yeah, so it'll be a horrible game for you, hopefully.
Thanks.
Palace City at Selhurst Park. 2 Premier League sides. A bit more of a glamour to this one, but let's be honest, we both know compared to Blackpool, yeah, there's a bit more.
Sam Allardyce in charge.
Let's be honest, Man City are probably going to play the kids here, aren't they? So
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many goals is I hear Nacho going to get, Dave?
I think he'll get. I think it's going to be 2-2. They'll take him to a replay.
Goals.
Ooh,
Yes.
interesting.
Matt time.
3-2 City, with this being Pep Guardiola's only trophy chance.
Ooh. Matt Thurney.
1-0 Palace.
Oh.
I'm
I'm going to go 1-1 replay. Why not? In one of the more interesting games of the round, non-league Lincoln City are at home against Championship leaders Brighton and Hove Albion. Why is this game not on TV?
Brighton are currently playing at the moment.
Brighton are
Are
currently
they?
playing it.
I thought it didn't start till 1:45.
Oh no, they're kicking off later. I was
Well,
just
yeah.
clicked on the wrong thing.
Obviously, time of recording. We're recording on a Tuesday evening. If anyone could work
In
that
Cardiff,
out. Yeah. So, why is this game not on TV? Lincoln, Brighton. Do you know what I mean?
Because they can't
Because neither
afford to
team
get a camera to the stadium.
are called Manchester United.
It's quite ridiculous.
Are Lincoln the lowest ranked team left in the competition? I'm not sure.
I think that's Sutton, who will come on to in a
Sutton,
bit.
yeah, I forgot
But they're
about
definitely the second lowest. And Brighton, the Championship leaders, it's at Lincoln. It's the epitome of an FA Cup tie.
That is true, yeah. This
Do you
is
know what I
like
mean?
a history-making one, isn't it? If they go through, then this is history in the making.
It's like I want to see, you know what I mean, like fairly big built women in the cafes with pies, and I want to see frost on the pitch. And, do you know what I mean? It's that sort of game.
Well, look, we know what's going to happen. We're going to see both managers turn. Chris Hughton's going to be there in his suit. Everyone looks very professional on the Brighton side. But then Lincoln turn up, and there's their manager. Just walked out of KFC with a bargain bucket at the ready to kick off. And there's his striker, just standing there with the shirt well too small for him. That's just showing his nipples. He's at the ready for this. He's going to score the winning goal.
What goes on in your head?
We know that's what it's going to be.
It's the magic of the cup.
And you just have Chris Sutton sitting in the sidelines, just come on, Lincoln. He used to manage him, didn't
he?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll better get a prediction. Dave, Lincoln and Brighton.
2-0 Brighton.
Matt Ty?
Magic of the Cup, 1-0 Lincoln.
Ooh.
Matt Thanning?
You heard my prediction. The striker scores the winning goal, 1-0 Lincoln.
And off on his way to the pub in his celebration.
All over the place. The popcorn chicken lands in every fan's mouth.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Brighton, last minute winner for the heartbreak. Why not?
All right.
Middlesbrough, Accrington Stanley's pretty tasty as well at the Riverside.
Premier League, League 2, isn't it?
Accrington Stanley, who are they?
Exactly.
It's a weird one for Borough because I know Matt Thanney, you said they're going to go down, but that Borough are sitting sort of mid-table. Do you know what I mean? They're in a position where if they want to have a go at the cup, if they get through this game, which is a relatively easy fixture they've been given, do you know what I mean? Fifth round, get a decent draw. You're looking at semi-finals then, or quarter-finals.
If they do well in the cup, they'll definitely get relegated.
It's an argument. So Borough Accrington, Dave?
2-1 Middlesbrough, I think.
Matt Ty?
2-2. Let's have a replay.
Why not? Thani?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Matt Ty, 2-2.
I'm going 3-3. I want some goals at the Riverside.
Goals.
Oxford, Newcastle's the Battle of the Uniteds at what's the Oxford Stadium called? Oh, it's in my head. Oh, it's not going to get there. But yeah, at Oxford.
University Stadium.
It's not the University Stadium. But yeah, it's at Oxford, who of course dumped Swansea out last season. If you remember, or the season before. I think it was last season now.
Or the season before that.
They dumped Swansea out pretty recently. Can they do it again? Because Newcastle ain't going to be bothered about the cup. To be honest with you,
they've got a squad for it.
Not really with the injuries they've got.
Gale's out.
You've got. They're on about bringing in a new striker actually because Gale's out for a while. But yes, so Newcastle are going to be focusing on the league. Can Oxford pull off the shock? Dave.
I'll say, I'll give them a replay. I'll say 2-2.
I'll give them a replay. There you go, Oxford.
I have granted you a replay.
Matt Ty?
Heartbreak, last minute, 2-1 Newcastle.
Danny?
I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle.
My prediction is that fat topless bloke in the crowd for Newcastle is going to have his belly jiggle at least 4 times because they're going to win 4-0. That's my
because
prediction.
Of all the Gregs he's had from the 24-hour one in Newcastle, yeah?
Is there a 24-hour one in Newcastle?
Yes, there is.
There is in Wolverhampton.
There is one in Newcastle.
Rochdale versus Huddersfield is one of those games that you are going to see last on the highlight show, unless there's a lot of goals. Dave Newman?
Just because you said that, I'm going to say 4-3 Huddersfield.
I'd be happy to be wrong. Matt Ty?
3-0. Let's have some banter.
Matt Fanning?
Look, I do think you're being a bit harsh, Kai, so I'm going to say 0-0.
Gold, no.
No. Not even a shot.
I'm going to go 2-0 Rochdale. Fancy an upset there. Tottenham Wickham's a bit of a tasty tie at White Hart Lane, but again, it's also not on TV. That's the last 3 o'clock kickoff. Surely it should be a comfortable win for Tottenham. Dave?
Yeah, I think 3-0 Tottenham.
Matt Ty?
3-0, agree.
3-0, Matt Fanny?
It's going to be goals for Spurs. 5-0.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give Wickham a goal because they played quite well against us last year. 3-1 Tottenham, because why
Fair
not?
play.
Southampton Arsenal is the 5:30 kickoff, which obviously is on TV.
Arguably the blockbuster game of the weekend, you would say.
Probably, yeah, it probably is. And I do know actually that Saints have cut their ticket prices for anyone that's listening in the area. It's about a tenner a ticket, which is ridiculous for an Arsenal.
That's an
£10
evening game,
ticket.
isn't it?
Yeah, evening game in the FA Cup. They've
I
really
might
cut
have
the
to get
ticket.
down there.
I know. So Dave Newman is our first one.
Could be a good match, I think. Maybe 3-2 Arsenal.
Mattai?
2-1 Saints. Let's have them having a nice double cup run.
Matt Thorney?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to go to a replay. I'm going to say 1-0.
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal because I think Saints' midweek performance is going to catch up to them at some point, tide-wise. Moving on to Sunday, there's 4 games to talk about. A minor London derby at 12 o'clock as Watford go to the Den. Hopefully the Watford fans get out of the Den.
Where are the Watford
Okay.
fans going to sit, by the way, when there's no seats because they're all ripped out by the fans all the time?
Yeah, exactly. Millwall-Watford. Dave Newman.
I'm going to say 1-0 Millwall.
Can I ask, by the way, is there a fan base like Millwall in Ireland? Is there any club that's got like rabid Wolverine fans?
Not Millwall.
He's one of them.
There's an Arsenal supporters club in Dublin somewhere where they watch all the matches in the pub. I don't think there's the same for Millwall.
No, I don't mean a Millwall fan club in Ireland. I mean a violent fan club in Ireland.
Oh, not particularly. No, everyone seems to be. Everyone seems to be fairly good-natured over here. So
you only get the odd fight.
Over there, Carl. That's why.
Okay. I need a prediction, Matt. Dave Newman. I need to stop that. Dave.
Yeah, 1-0 Millwall, I think.
Matt Ty?
1-0.
Matt Thaddeus?
2-0 Watford. Troy Deeney dominates the game.
I'm going to go 3-0 Watford because they like cup run, don't they? Fulham versus Hull was a Premier League game just a few years ago, so it's got a bit of sort of, not glamour, I suppose, but a bit of attention to it. Next season it could be a championship game too, so, rivals.
It will be.
Fulham Hull, Dave.
Ooh, I think 1-0.
That time?
I think 1-0 as well.
Matt Thanney?
2-0 Fulham.
I'm going to go 2-0 Fulham as well, actually. That's a good shout. I like that.
I like that idea.
Sutton versus Leeds. It's another battle of the United in the FA Cup 4th round. And this
biggest game of the season.
This is the tie, and I'm so glad. I'm pretty sure this one is on TV.
Yeah, it's on BT.
Yes, BT. Although that means I have to deal with Robbie Savage.
And Michael Owen.
I don't mind Michael Owen. Robbie Savage is a tumour to football.
He is the
worst
worst.
one. We all know it is Michael Owen. It is Michael Owen.
No.
Michael Owen's boring, but Robbie Savage doesn't know his bum from his face.
That's because his look-alike.
What we have got to admit, it's like Brendan Rodgers says, they've all got great character.
Michael Owen has the character of a plank.
You know what? I'm just going to go predictions, Dave.
I'll say 1-0 Leeds.
Matt Ty?
1-0 Sutton. Let's have a nice upset.
Matt Thanney?
Because we all hate
I'm going to go 0-0.
You are a bundle of joy, honestly. I'm going to go 2-1 Sutton because Sutton are my heartfelt... In my heart, I want them to win the cup this year. Come on, Sutton. Hashtag give Sutton a chance. Come on.
Besides
The last time...
us lot, who will use that hashtag?
Well, then we better get it trending. Come on, guys, you know what to do. Hashtag. So the final game is a repeat of a League Cup final of 2006, I think. Man United versus Wigan. Just to round us off, it should be a comfy United win, really, shouldn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I think it'll be 4-0. Hopefully Rooney will score his first goal at Old Trafford since becoming the all-time top goal scorer.
That time?
Oh, part of me really wants to give Wigan a replay, but I just don't see it happening, so 3-0 United.
And Matt Thally?
I tend to agree with David, 4-0 United.
I'm going to go 4-0 as well, because why not? That is a good reason. Goals. I don't believe there's a Monday game.
No, because we had a Friday one. There's no
We've
Monday
got
one.
a Friday game. We're not going to be doing any more for next week, because hopefully we might have an episode out next week. Hashtag don't hold us to it. So I think we should leave it there. It's been an hour and a half, which is a bit more than usual, but it's a bumper episode to bring us back. Thank you, David, for joining us from Ireland, and the two Matts. Hopefully we'll have some. Hopefully we'll get Graham or Stuart back. Stuart's the RK OG, so he's got to come back at some point. Possibly next week, hopefully. And you just got to keep up to date with the Facebook page and the Twitter for updates on that. We do actually have a new project in the works, and I don't know if we should reveal it on the podcast. What do you reckon, guys?
Well, I think we should, because it covers us. Yeah. Okay, I said it just covers us in case next week doesn't happen.
Take it away.
No, you're in charge.
I'm in charge. So basically, because obviously it's more difficult for us to get everyone around at the same time to be able to do these sort of podcasts because of life, So the idea is
someone's still at uni.
Me being at uni is the only way we can do this in the first place. But yeah, the idea is that there will be individuals videos posted to the YouTube and linked out obviously on Facebook, Twitter, and the blog page, where each person on the team will be giving their opinion on a certain subject. For example, we were talking about the Diego Costa bit earlier with China and whatnot. Say Matt Thany, for example, would sit there and he'd give his own opinions, and it's more of a video blog, so to speak.
Have you got half hour to spare?
Yeah, that's one idea we're poking about, and there's a couple of others probably in there somewhere. And if you guys have any requests, any ideas you think we could sort of take from you and steal, we'll be happy to do that. Leave us a comment in on the YouTube page, of course, and we will have a look and see what we can do. But yeah, that's the plan. So you'll be seeing more of our faces for once. We'll actually have a camera for that one guy who demanded we get a camera.
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully, maybe see you next time next week. Thanks from David and the two Matts.
Au revoir.
Goodbye.
Once I've been able to do it. So from David and the two Matts, this has been the RK Football Podcast. Back again for what I think Series 3, Series 4?
Series 4.
Series 4. So join us again next time.